This is why we need to get rid of the whole sugar daddy, sugar mama, and sugar baby routine because it never ends well for anybody. This is 29-year-old Kelsey Turner, who is a former model for both Playboy and Maxim and went by the name of Bad Barbie, who is currently serving time in prison right now for the unaliving her sugar daddy, all because he called it quits. Now, her sugar daddy was 71-year-old Thomas Brocard, who is a child psychologist over in California. Now, Thomas bankrolled everything that Kelsey did, from paying her $3,200 rent, to buying her a new car, paying for medication she may need, even supplying her money for her own son. And no, he was not the baby dad of her son either. When the two had first met, she had told him that she was a single mom who fell in some hard times and was wondering if he could help her out. But the thing he didn't realize, pretty much everything was a lie, except for the kid. Now, all of Thomas's friends and family would constantly tell him that she's using him for his money, but he would never believe it. Even his long-term girlfriend slash fiance of 17 years, who knew about the arrangement, even told him that she's been playing him. I will say she has to be a trooper, because I've never known a woman to stick around that long, knowing the man was paying for somebody else's bills. So in March of 2019, Thomas went ahead and paid a surprise visit to Kelsey, just to prove everybody wrong that she's not playing him, and when he got there, he was there for a rude awakening. Because when he got there, he found that Kelsey been living this lavish lifestyle, and not just that, she'd been lying about her living situation the entire time. Because in the house, she was living with her boyfriend John Kennison and her friend Diana Pena. So when Thomas realized that everything was a lie, he went ahead and cut her off. He told her he's not paying for any more bills, he's not paying for her rent, and that she is on her own. Now Kelsey didn't like the idea of being cut off, and so she threatened Thomas by saying that if he did not start paying her stuff again, she's gonna go ahead and Chris Hansen him. Now Thomas knew those allegations were true, and he did not move an inch from that, and so Kelsey got mad and called her boyfriend, in which John had ran into the room that Thomas was staying in with a baseball bat, and would continue to hit him over and over again with it, in which Diana stepped in and said that we need to stop this and that you need to get him to a hospital. They took Thomas down over to Kelsey's car, in which the beating continued from there. And when Thomas was no longer conscious, John had told Diana to go up to the bedroom and clean up the mess that was in there. All the while, John and Kelsey had put Thomas into the trunk of the car, drove the car over to Lake Mead National Recreational Center over in Las Vegas, and left the car and the body there. So after a couple days, when Thomas had failed to come home, his fiancée went ahead and filed a missing person report. Not long after the report was made, police would find the vehicle along with Thomas inside of it. All three would be arrested and be charged with murder, in which both John and Kelsey would claim their innocence, and they both point the finger towards Diana. But Diana was going to take that laying down, so she snitched on everybody, where she made a deal with prosecutors where they took the murder charge off and gave her accessory to murder. She would only have to do 3 years of probation as long as she told all the information they needed. So Diana told how John was the one that beat Thomas with the bat, and that Kelsey was the one that stood behind him and egged him on the whole entire time. On how John made her clean up the mess, even though she didn't want to do so, but she did just because she feared for her life that she would be next if she didn't. And the fact that the car that was used to put the body in was Kelsey's car. So with all the evidence stacked against John Henwin pled guilty to second-degree murder, where he's serving 18 to 45 years in prison. And Kelsey took what was known as an alpha plea, which allowed her to avoid going to trial. Now, what an alpha plea is that she doesn't formally have to say she's guilty, but she has to acknowledge the fact that there's enough evidence to prove her guilt. In exchange for the plea deal that she took, she was given 10 to 25 years and be eligible for parole after 10.